What's going on, everybody? John with Refinery Fragrances back for another video. Today I want to do something a little bit different. Recently I've been thinking a lot about flankers. You see flankers everywhere, and honestly it's a little bit annoying, like how many flankers, I don't want to call anybody out, but them all, how many flankers some fragrances have. It can be overwhelming and a little bit redundant and honestly not very creative. But we all love a good flanker. We all love Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Parfum, flankers that we, have come to really love. So I compiled a list of 5 flankers that I wish companies would make, and I want to share them with you guys. Before I hop into the video, if this is your first time to the channel or you have not subscribed and you're interested in fragrance-related content like this, please do consider hitting subscribe as well as the bell icon for notifications for future uploads. Maybe some of you guys are unsure what flankers are, so I'll explain. Flankers are essentially sequels to fragrances that already exist. So an example of that would be Dior Sauvage. There's the original Eau de Toilette version, and then they came out with a Eau de Parfum and then a Parfum version of Dior Sauvage. The Eau de Parfum and Parfum are flankers because it is the same, essentially the same fragrance, but just in a different concentration, or they make it darker, or they make it fresher. Essentially, it's a sequel with slight alterations to the original formulation. I'm also going to make this a tag video because from what I've seen, this is not being talked about in the community. And I'm just curious, what other content creators, other fragrance reviewers, what their flanker wish list might look like. So I'm going to tag a couple people down below and let's see if we can keep it going. Without any further ado, let's hop into the list. So these are not ranked in any particular order. These are just 5 fragrances at random that I just wish these 5 companies would make. So number 1, Herod Exclusive by Parfums de Marly. Now, I know some of you people out there, maybe you have some insider information that I'm not aware of. But this is something that has been on my mind as exclusive versions of Parfums de Marly have come out. It started with Leighton Exclusive, then Pegasus Exclusive more recently, just last year. I just feel like Herod is one of my favorites of all time. It is my favorite from Parfums de Marly, I would have to say. That can change depending on the day, but I do feel like that is right now my favorite fragrance. I just love how sweet it is, and the sweet tobacco honey type thing is great. But what I would love to see is not the same base that's in Pegasus Exclusive or in Leighton Exclusive, because they do share some similarities in the base notes. But I would just love to see a little bit drier of a tobacco. I'd like to see the tobacco amped up even more. I know people put oud in everything nowadays, but I just I feel like a nice sweet tobacco oud fragrance by Parfums de Marly would just be an absolute killer. Just put it in that matte brown, put it in like a matte brown bottle. And I just feel like it would be such a smash. I know people would be super hyped for it because Herod is probably the most talked about from the brand. So yeah, that is my first on my wish list, Herod Exclusive by Parfums de Marly. All right, so next on the list of flankers I wish they would make, Wood Sage and Sea Salt Eau de Parfum by Jo Malone. I am hoping for that fragrance, okay? And I can't be alone in this because I have not met a single person who doesn't think Wood Sage and Sea Salt is incredible. Like, maybe not incredible, but that like it. They think it's just a really pleasant, fresh, salty, aquatic type of a fragrance that is just so universally appealing, so likable. It is one of my favorite scent profiles. It's just simple and very casual and laid back, and it's awesome. But the performance sucks. The performance sucks. You know it. I know it. That's the common complaint. I mean, with a lot of Jo Malone fragrances, right? But I just think that if they put out, and I was a brand ambassador for Jo Malone a couple of years ago. I asked for that. I'm like, has there ever been any talk about this at all? I heard no. There's never been any whisperings of that going on. Joe Malone, I'm begging you, please make a higher concentrated version. Put it in the dark Cologne Intense line, wood sage and sea salt, eau de parfum, or just a Cologne Intense, something that just has at least 6 hours of lasting power and some decent projection, but with that same scent profile. That would be a home run for the brand. I'm sure of it. That's on my wish list, wood sage and sea salt, eau de parfum by Joe Malone. Next up on the list is a fragrance that some of you might say, oh, well, John, this has been done before. This is already out there on the market. I really want to see a Lana de L'Homme flanker, and I can just feel people's eyes rolling. There's a million flankers of Lana de L'Homme and a million flankers of L'Homme, period. But Lana de L'Homme has not been given the proper eau de parfum treatment, in my opinion. They have come out with Le Parfum, the eau de parfum, Eau Electrique. There's a bunch of different flankers, but none of them capture the essence of the original, in my opinion. They changed the DNA so much when I feel like they would have just benefited from taking that original eau de toilette, making it an eau de parfum, and just beefing up that DNA. I mean, everybody and their mother is out online looking for the 2009 batch of Lana Wee, right? They're all looking for these, old vintage batches of Lana Wee de L'Homme. And they're paying $200 a bottle for it. Sometimes more than that. A few years ago, it was absolutely crazy. I think that's died down a little bit. But I just think it would be really cool if they made a true Lana de L'Homme parfum, made it high concentration with that original scent profile, and just gave us the performance we were looking for. I feel like that would be really awesome. Although I actually feel like I get good performance out of the eau de toilette. I think it would be really cool just to have it slightly deeper, slightly darker, maybe amp up some of the darker notes in Lana de L'Homme. And I would be first in line to purchase it. I would pre-order that thing, and I think I'm probably not alone in that. Okay, so next up, I feel like I'm gonna get flamed for this probably. I'm not surprised wouldn't be surprised if I got flamed for the Lana de L'Homme thing, all right? I want Aventis Noir, or Aventis something. Make it dark, make it smoky again. Make Aventis smoky again. I'm gonna make t-shirts, hashtag make Aventis smoky again. That hasn't been done, right? If it has, I apologize. But we all want a deeper, richer, darker, smokier Aventis like the days of old, okay? And, I recently got Club de Nuit Intense Man. It's good. It's a little bit more smoky, but it's just, if I really had to be critical, okay, I have a lot of high-end niche fragrances in my collection. Yeah, it's chemically and kind of a muddled mess if I had to be a perfume critic. The quality is certainly not, up to Creed's standard. And a lot of people would say, well, the price point is way higher for Creed than Creed's quality. And I think you have a fair point there. But I think a lot of us would be lining up to buy a smokier, like we knew it was going to be smoky. And we knew it was going to remind us of those 2010, 12, 14 batches, that we all loved. Now, is it annoying that just Aventis is not like that? Yes, absolutely. But now Creed is not privately owned anymore. They've already made Aventis Cologne, so they've already, and Aventis for her, so they've already dove into the flanker world. I think if Aventis Noir came in some sort of dark tinted bottle, like a smoky looking bottle, God, we would all be throwing $450 at the counter, at least until it hit FragranceNet. But I just think that we're all missing that original vibe of Aventis. We all want that monstrous projection. I think we're all tired of the batch variations. So whatever you got to do to limit that, Creed, please. Like Green Irish Tweed doesn't have nearly as bad of batch variations, or Millésime Imperial, or anything else. It would be really cool if they could make that fragrance, Aventis Noir, Aventis Dark, Aventis Intense, doesn't matter. And limit the batch variations, and I think I speak for a lot of you out there when I say that we would be very happy with that. So fingers crossed, guys. All right, last but certainly not least, I would cry tears of joy if this happened. Amber Oud Parfum Cologne by Roja Dove. I love Amber Oud so much. It has become at least in my top 3. It's hard to knock Creation E off the #1 spot for me, but Amber Oud is very close to my #1 spot of all time. It's just incredible. But at that $795 price point, I believe it's somewhere in there. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I think it's at that price point. It's just hard to access for a lot of people, myself included. I have a 10 ml decant out of my dad's bottle. He was kind enough to do that for me, and I love it. It's an absolute masterpiece, but it's just not very accessible. So I was thinking the other day as I was wearing it, and man, you want compliments? Amber Oud is your fragrance. My God, I get so many compliments from that fragrance. Anyway, I was thinking it would be really cool if they took some of the fresher notes in Amber Oud, like I believe there's lime and bergamot and fig in there, and amped it up and maybe brought down the concentration a little bit. I think it would be an amazing addition to the Parfum Cologne line, and it would introduce people to Amber Oud, people that wouldn't have otherwise had the chance to smell it, because it's just very exclusive and very expensive. So I just feel like that would make an unbelievable addition to the line, and I am hoping that they do that. I doubt Roja Dove himself is watching this video, but if it ever comes across your feed, Roger, please, Amber Oud Parfum Cologne. I would love it. All right, guys, that is it. Those are 5 fragrances on my flanker wish list. I want to know what is on your wish list. Are some of your favorite fragrances? What flankers do you want to see? What notes do you want to see amplified in those flankers? Let's get a discussion started down in the comments, and we will see you guys soon.